Alright guys, Tactical here back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Monday. Today I wanted to talk about Prestinni and how he confirmed last night that it is in fact the case that he is on the bench right now, of course, as we all know, but it's not his choice to be there. I wanted to talk about the implications of this in a few minutes, exactly why this is the case, especially given they had some pretty good results, especially at the Atlanta home series with him in the team. He steps out for mental health reasons. A couple of days ago we talked about how he's been spotted on Rated's team that they're going to be scrimming with kind of for fun, so we'll have a look at that again in just a second here, but then he comes out and says, look, this is not my decision. It was up in the air as to whether he was just stepping out for the time being and not quite ready to come back to frontline play just yet, but very much seems the case that the Florida management or the Florida players themselves don't want him back in the squad since they subbed him out for Ferro in advance a few weeks ago now of that Atlanta event. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. First of all, just wanted to address this once again because a lot of other esports are talking about right now the contingency plans they have in place given this whole global pandemic situation we find ourselves in. Overwatch League came out a couple of days ago and they have a schedule for this weekend just coming up, the matches that they're going to be played online. If nothing comes out from the Call of Duty League tonight, I will make a video tomorrow on exactly what the delay could be and what some of the options are for the Call of Duty League, because it's far from an easy scenario with all the money that's flying around, the CDC to think about as well, that's the challenger side of things. So yeah, Overwatch League have at least made some progress, so it seems disconcerting to me, to be honest, that the Call of Duty League haven't really done anything yet, and also we have this come out yesterday, so we had some NASCAR being played on Fox Sports here. This is like esports gaming stuff, really cool to see. Also, there was like a Formula 1 race stream for 350,000 viewers across Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, not including all of Sky Sports. And this was, you know, the graphics on this are honestly like really nice. So, yeah, this was played yesterday. If you guys know Red-Eye and Sadakist, they were racing in this alongside some professional drivers as well. So, really cool to see, but it's somewhat, you know, disheartening that Call of Duty haven't made any announcements yet. But rest assured, whenever something is confirmed, it will be here on the channel as soon as it possibly can be. So let's talk about Prestinni really quick. Thanks to Tony Case in the comment section a couple of days ago for saying, like, I was wondering why Prestinni had moved to Texas. For some reason, I didn't put the dots together, but I do believe his brother Alec Arcetes is based in Texas. So, you know, Preston's whole self-benching was due to him struggling with mental health. He thinks being with Alec can help with that. Good on him. He's just in a different state, doesn't mean he's leaving Mutineers or staying benched. Formulas in Cali while the rest of Huntsmen are in Texas, so it works fine for them, which is definitely fair enough. As the case turns out, CDL Intel tweets this yesterday, comment from Prestinni, not my decision anymore to be benched, so that's not the case, but thank you. So, okay, this is something to dive into, right? Because a couple of days ago we talked about, is this the possibility? Is this the case? Because Rated comes out and says that myself, Zero, and Abel saying to Prestinni, need to scrim for tomorrow. Whether this meant that Prestinni was in full match fitness to come back into the starting squad, you know, that's what it seemed like to me, and that's kind of the take I had, but some people disagree, which is definitely fair enough. There was multiple interpretations of this information. But I do find some of the Reddit replies to this kind of interesting, and I wonder what your guys' thoughts on it are in the comment section below, because Prestinni steps out for mental health issues, perfectly reasonable to do so. It's nice, to be honest, that we do have these guaranteed salary contracts, so that you can feel free to do that. However, you are putting yourself in a difficult position when you go ahead and make that move, because a lot of the opinions on Reddit are that the rest of his team don't necessarily want to bring him back in because he feels like a liability in that sense. For those of you who follow CS, I think before the Berlin major, maybe 2019, I forget exactly what the major was, but this guy Smooya on this team, BIG, Berlin International Gaming, he stepped out just before the event a few weeks before, and or even a few days before, and said, look, I don't want to play with this team or something like that. Not exactly the case with Prestinni. But when you get a situation where someone steps out just a few days before the event, it puts them in a difficult position, because can you trust this guy again in the future? Can he be a long-term stability if you feel like this is always going to be a risk? That's not to take anything away from Prestinni and his accolades, the fact he won the World Championships last year, and he's one of very few World Champions in Call of Duty. But if this is a potential recurring issue that could come up in the future, as disappointing as it is for Prestinni, maybe it makes sense for the rest of the team to be a little bit tentative for bringing him back in the squad, given that you could come to another event around the corner, and that's not the case. However, in the online situation, it maybe seems slightly easier to make that decision, slightly easier to bring substitutes in, slightly easier to play more aggressive and play a kind of looser style as you would if you're just subbing a player in, you can probably get away with that more online than you can in a LAN environment, which makes me think that maybe this is a decision that might be easier to bring Prestinni back in now the league is going online. However, it doesn't seem to be the case. So this is kind of the thoughts on Reddit here. This is what I've said quite a while now, is that subbing him in for Morks on paper makes sense to me, but clearly the team dynamic, as you know, as big J1er says here, like it doesn't work like that. The team chemistry and dynamics may not work, but on paper, to me, that seemed to make sense. Skies as the main AR. You've got Frosty kind of playing a flex role, and then you can have Prestinni right up there. Ferro can almost play a flex as well, and then you've got Havoc, of course, in that aggressive SMG role. Him and Prestinni with Ferro behind them as well would make sense to me. I feel like Morks right now on the SMG just isn't getting enough out of him as you would expect. He's a pretty competent main assault rifle. With Skies playing as he is, it's a similar situation to the London team, right, in a sense, at least from what the management has decided to do over there. So, you know, here come the assumptions. Ferro's been discussing, hard to blame him. Doesn't help the people on Reddit and Twitter don't understand mental health and say he deserves it. Hopefully he sees all the positive comments. He'll get his role back. He's one of the best players. He deserves his spot. So, some real flip of the coin here on what side people seem to be coming down on. Mental health issues are bad, however, that doesn't mean he's obligated to regain his starting spot on the roster. The other 4 players right now are comfortable with Ferro. They're not going to throw away all the practice they had while Prestinni was gone to restart and essentially do over all the progress they have had. Every match counts for seeding at the ends. So that's also a fair opinion, right? Just to me, I think staying with Ferro makes perfect sense. He's been playing well. Clearly, he fits the role nicely. The question is, subbing him out for Morks makes sense on paper. So what's the reason they aren't going down that route? Because London have gone down that route. Is it because the players on the team feel like Prestinni could be a bit of a liability if he comes back? But then again, he's a world champion. He's done it before. He's put up some great numbers in the series they had at the Atlanta home series as well, when they ended up walking away with second place, losing to Atlanta in the grand finals. Prestinni was something of a revelation, winning a couple of those series early on, definitely stepping up his game from what we've seen earlier in the tournament. And you know, is it a horrible take? Is it not? That's my question for you guys down in the comment section below, because you don't want to be insensitive, but at the same time, you feel like Florida to some degree have a point in the decisions they're making here, and you know, I imagine Prestinni does recognise that to some degree, but of course, you know, good on him for making the decision he has. Whether the team decide to make the decision late season, who knows exactly what the situation is right now. But yeah, these are some of the statistics, of course, that we've looked at before. Sky sitting here, Prestinni sitting here. Ferro comes in for just this one event where Prestinni goes out of the team very briefly indeed, and has a pretty decent performance on the whole, given the caliber of this team. So are things going to change longer term here? Do you reckon Prestinni's going to come back into the squad at any point? If so, what changes do you make? But clearly they seem that their chemistry is pretty fine right now with Morks in the squad, and they seem to be playing well enough online, I imagine. And I guess they're getting on well, which is why they don't see the need to make a change. However, changes are very easy to make given the current online environment, which makes me think that if they have a poor result at one of the upcoming online events, which hopefully we have, but of course no confirmation as I said at the start of the video, maybe it could be quite easy to make a change, right? You don't have to worry about getting everyone in the same place altogether, even though that would be ideal. If Prestinni's working away from the other guys, that's not really the end of the world either. So a couple of other things to mention here before we finish off the video for today. Thought this was really interesting from Credit CDL Intel as well. I hadn't seen it written exactly like this before, which field of view is console Modern Warfare. Just in terms of the comparison, what we get on console compared to we get on PC if you were to play on PC. So your field of view effectively is all you can see. In real life, I don't know what my my real life field of view is. I'm trying to like look around the corners of my eyes. It's kind of strange. I don't know what you would call that in terms of field of view, but in game, in at least in consoles, you see something like this, kind of as you can see on the left right here. Kind of makes sense in terms of the dynamics. I think that this is about 60 on the left in terms of the field of view slider. I think someone said in reply to this comment here, or this tweet here, that in Modern Warfare it's actually about 67 or something in console, so not exactly 60, but it does paint the picture, because you can see here on the left, this is kind of what you're looking at, what most of you guys will recognize playing on console. This is what it looks like on PC, which is just crazy to me. You can see basically everything. That's really the big difference when you're watching PC gameplay. That's why it looks so strange, because this is your field of view on PC, or at least it can be, compared to this on console. You can change it around, of course. Makes sense in terms of rendering capacity that your console renders it like this, but it's so strange how everything seems so close here. And I guess technically this is an advantage because you can see more. I thought that was interesting, of course, given that down the line, who knows, do we go to PC as a future strategy? Of course, right now, all of the casting and the broadcasting stuff is done on PC, so people can use the number pad and everything to change through players. The observing's done via PC, as I said, and all of this stuff. At some point, do they properly play on PC? That's a question I brought up a while ago now, actually. Don't really want to get into, but the difference is the contrast is stark indeed. Just wanted to go through one last little bit of drama here that I found kind of interesting, so thanks to Connor for pointing this out to me here on Twitter, but Simp says some of these pro teams blow my mind. I think it's a little bit of a back and forth with Bells, which I found kind of interesting. You try and tell us when we can't spectate a scrim last minute out of the blue because your coaches weren't there, so Crowder, RJ, Easy Mac, those guys. Am I missing the mind-blowing part? I mean, it's not because they aren't there, and I mean, if you have 4 people sitting in caster, I'd hope one of them could at least improve the team without caster. So this is the age-old conversation we've had over the last couple of years of players being in, or at least coaches being in the codcaster rather than just spectating the team, which is something of an issue, right? I guess if you're scrimming hardpoint, if you're in codcaster spectating your scrim with your team, you can just watch the other team and exactly what they do. Because if you're a Los Angeles Guerrillas and you're a Bevels right now, I'm not going to be watching my team as they're scrimming Atlanta FaZe. I'm going to be watching what Atlanta FaZe are doing exactly from their POVs, what they do off spawn, what Simp does. And this, of course, is a bit of an issue, I guess, in theory. In an ideal world, the casters just go, or the coaches at least, just go on the team of their team and just don't spawn in, so they can only spectate their team and see it from that perspective. But it's always a bit of an issue. Sorry, bro, you don't get to tell 3 people they can't do their job just because you don't feel like it. Tough concept to grasp, I'm sure. My 2 coaches do their job without caster all the time, but enjoy your other scrim, bro. Bit of a back and forth. Which side do you fall down on here? Simp saying that, these guys can't come in codcaster, or Bevel saying like, well, this is our job, tough, mate. So very strange. But yeah, just to finish with here, given this time of difficulty we find ourselves in, thought this is a pretty pertinent little speech that Doug said to Martin gives here. Hashtag Monday motivation, baby. So yeah, keep the spirits up. Thanks for watching. I'd like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thanks for watching as always. I will see you next time.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's your boy Doug Spencer Martin bringing you guys some Monday motivation. So it's day 8, I think, of quarantining right now. All of us are losing our minds out here. There's no gyms. The economy's going to complete trash right now. Like, everything is just a complete mess. And it's one of the worst times that we've ever had, especially in my life right now. But I think it's very important that we all just take a deep breath and we just reset and we understand that things are only going to get worse before they get better, and there will be better days out there in the future. And I think if we could continue to have a positive outlook on this and just do our part for society, we're going to be able to push through this as fast as possible. So I know it's going to be tough for a lot of you guys. I know a lot of you guys out there are losing your jobs and you don't have any ways of paying your bills or getting by, and I understand. And we just got to take a deep breath, guys. Like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better, but I promise you guys there's better days ahead. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. Hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.